like a pro.
Capita.
Hey y'all, and welcome back to Brandi Beauty TV. So today y'all, we are going to be doing a silk press transformation. This is my client Nyla, and she is actually a newer client of mine. There she goes. Hey Nyla. And so she actually booked for a silk press only today, but let me tell y'all what happened. So I the first time I did her hair, this session was actually the second time, but the first time I did her hair, she booked for a designer cut, right? And of all the glorious days that I did not have my camera, it was that day. So I whipped out my trusty dusty phone and I set that thing up and I recorded her entire haircut. So I will insert that video into this video so you all can see that footage from her initial service. But anyways, today is all about informing you guys on how to add body in your hair with the most minimal techniques, okay? Of course, we all know that it is now silk press season, and well, depending on where you live, here in good old Georgia, particularly Atlanta, Georgia, y'all, it's cold now. A couple weeks ago, it was burning up hot. It was hot outside, but we just got this massive cold front, and so people are whipping out the boots and the furs and the thermals and the long sleeves, and the salons are packed because everybody is wearing their silk presses now because now the weather is on our side. So Miss Nyla, she booked for her cut last time, and at first she thought that she was going to have to get a whole lot taken off, but contrary to popular belief, she did not. And so I mentioned to her that, okay, well, you do need a cut, obviously, because she hadn't really had her hair shaped, but I was informing her that, look, we're not just going to just trim your hair. Let's really be a little bit more intentional about it. So if you really plan on wearing your hair straight and being able to fluctuate and go back and forth between your curly natural and also your straight styles, your silk press styles and whatnot, because she does want to wear her hair straight a little bit more often, which is totally fine. Let's give it a nice cut. Let's make it wearable so you love it when it's straight, so it's not just hanging there. So we gave her a designer haircut, guys, and when I tell you, it made the best difference in her hair. And a lot of people think, oh, I'm gonna get a haircut. They think a haircut is just removing a bunch of length, but that's not necessarily the case. A haircut is just that. It's a haircut. Sometimes you need a haircut for shape. Sometimes you need a haircut to remove weight. Sometimes you need a haircut to remove length. It all depends on what your overall goals are. And so the key with having long hair that moves, because a lot of times people with just really long hair, their hair just falls limp. And as your hair continues to grow out, it will also lose its shape. So I always encourage people to get their hair cut routinely, because over time, your hair will lose its shape, and you have to be intentional about keeping that shape there, whatever shape that you want. So in this case, we decided that we were going to go ahead. Look at that. Look at her hair. I'm sorry, y'all. That hair is just gorgeous. I mean, she could have walked out with a nice clean blow dry. Don't underestimate a good blow dry, y'all, okay? So anyways, I was like, okay, let's be intentional about adding shape into your hair, because you need to know exactly how you want it to look, how you want it to fall, and layers will do that. So that's what we did, y'all. We gave her a beautiful, wispy, long layered haircut, and I can't wait to get to that part so you all can see what we did. But first, we're going to start off and go ahead and press her hair out. I'm only going to do one side on camera. The other side I'm going to do off camera, just because Nyla does have a lot of hair. But let me go in and also add how we prepped for this service that we did today. So her first session that we did, We did her designer cut and we did her silk press. But today's service, we did a moisture mask and a silk press. And let me tell you guys the benefits of treating your hair, okay? Because your silk presses are only as good to the degree that your hair is moisturized, okay? So when you keep your hair locked up in those protective styles and braids and anything that's going to prohibit your natural sebum from lubricating your hair strands, you are essentially drying your hair totally out. And so when good old silk press season comes around, you don't have the liberty to wear your silk presses like you want to because the hair is dry. It's been locked up. It doesn't have any moisture. Y'all excuse my children in the background if y'all can hear them. For some odd reason, they just sit right by the door when I do my voiceovers. And I've tried everything to get rid of them sometimes, and it just doesn't work. So yeah, if you know, then you know, okay? If you got kids under the age of 6, then I'm sure you know how that life can be sometimes. Or if you got grandkids. They are resilient, okay, and persistent. So anyways, we gave Nyla a moisture mask, and I was so happy that she booked for that because, for one, and it's not that her hair, I would say, it really, really, really needed it, but it's always good sometimes to give your hair just that extra burst of hydration, extra burst of moisture. And so I use my Care Intensive Repair Mask, and I love that stuff because not only does it serve as a mask for moisture, it also strengthens the hair at the same time. And I love products that kind of do both. Like, you can't have moisture without strength, and you can't have strength without moisture. If it's too moisturized, it'll go limp, and your hair can break that way. It's because it's too weak. And if it's too strong and you have too much protein, it can pop off that way too. You know, if it's just too hard, it's kind of like having like a really strong tree. If it doesn't have the right amount of moisture, if it's not lubricated from the inside, if the roots aren't doing their job to bring that moisture and that hydration up through that trunk, then if it gets too dry, it'll rot and it'll snap. It's the same way with your hair. It'll do the exact same thing. You know, I kind of like to use that analogy because a lot of people have seen a snap in a trunk or a piece of wood that has snapped in. It's pretty much the same thing with your hair. So that intensive repair mask sat for about 20 minutes and it just gave her hair this beautiful shine, and I just live for it. I mean, you see how silky and shiny it is? Like, treat your hair, guys. Make sure you treat your hair. So we're about to go ahead and get into this haircut, and I'm going to start off by giving her a zero elevation haircut, and it's basically just going to give her some blunt ends. I want to make sure I get all the dead ends off, or at least as much as I can. And I told her I'm really not too big on, you know, taking off everything. Some of the little thin spots, some of that can grow out, okay? So I just want to get most of them off. And then the rest of it, hey, we can just kind of camouflage that on out. And I know over time, I give it about another 4 months, it'll start growing out. And so now I have decided that I want to give her wispy long layers, right? So I twisted her hair all the way on the crown of her head. And then I went in with my shears and I just point cut it. And instead of doing a straight line, I did that zigzag line. I don't know if y'all saw that, but I did that so we can have different variations of length. And it really, really does serve the purpose of making it look so much more seamless than just doing a straight line, you know, so you don't have that demarcation there. And so after going up and bringing all the hair to the top, it's important to make sure that you take everything up and out and go ahead and just point cut it, and everything that falls out, I leave it out. I don't try to move it back up into the hair because you can disturb and disrupt the haircut and you can mess up the flow. So everything that falls out, I leave it out, but everything that stays in, I just go in and I just try to connect it just a little bit, and boom, that was pretty much it. And that's essentially the haircut. Now, of course, I went to the front and I did some face framing, and you'll see me do that as well. But y'all, a haircut goes such a long way. And when you have really, really long hair, it's kind of inevitable that your hair is just going to fall limp. It's just going to drop. Your curls going to look like Goldilocks curls. And unless you want that, I'm gonna go on the limb and say most people don't want to look like Goldilocks. But hair that moves is sexy. Hair that moves screams healthy. Like, hair that moves is attractive, and it's no better way of to make your hair move than to add layers. And layers don't have to be short. They can be long layers. In Nyla's case, we gave her nice long layers. She didn't need short layers, because if they're too short, that'll actually kind of start looking like a mullet. So you have to be intentional about how short you want your shortest layer to stop or to start. But it really does make a huge difference, guys. And I recommend everybody always get a haircut, whatever that looks like. If your hair is to the length where you just need to keep it trimmed to keep it shaped, then do that. But every 3 to 4 months, guys, keep your hair cut, y'all. Keep your hair cut. It'll make styling easier. It'll make it faster. It won't be so tedious. And it'll also make your shampoo and blow dries go by so much faster. So now I'm just going in around her face, guys, doing a little point cutting. Anything, little imperfections that I see, now is the time that I'm going to use to go in and just detail it just a little bit. It's these little nuanced little things that really do make a haircut. Just kind of just carving in that detail that you want to personalize it. And that's it. That's the haircut. And I can't wait to curl this thing so y'all can see this thing move and come to life. Like, even straight, like, it's popping. It looks really, really good. It looks really, really good. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Going to go ahead and curl it up. I'm using my little K&B Pure Shine Silker. And this serum is top tier. I'm going to make sure I go ahead and lubricate those ends real good. And y'all don't be afraid of using a little serum. I know some people think greasing the hair is moisturizing the hair, but y'all, I ain't even gonna do it today. I'm not even gonna do it. If you got grease, just throw in the trash, okay? I'm not even gonna do that. We're not gonna have that conversation today. You go get you a nice lightweight serum, okay? Go to your local Sally's, local beauty supply store. The Chi Silk Infusion, the Proclaim Glossing Polish, Bio Silk, anything lightweight, anything that's glossy. That's what you want when you're trying to lubricate your hair, okay? Your scalp doesn't produce grease, okay? I said I wasn't going to do it today, but y'all, I'm going to do it for about 30 seconds, okay? And then we're going to let this go. Your scalp doesn't produce grease, and it doesn't produce grease for a reason, because it clogs the pores, okay? It's no way your hair can flourish the way that it needs to by piling on thick grease on your scalp, okay? It can lock in irritants, irritate your scalp sometimes. Your scalp be itchy. If you want to lubricate it, and if you having like little dry spouts, use a light serum to do that. Something lightweight so your follicles are not clogged, and so that hair can push through the way that it needs to, okay? So yeah, I mentioned a couple of them before. I mentioned them again. The Chi Silk Infusion, Bio Silk, Proclaim Glossing Polish. I think you can actually get that from Sally's. Anything along that line, it's the consistency that you're looking for. You're looking for something that you can build up, something lightweight. No grease though, y'all, okay? No grease. All right, let's leave grease in the 1980s, okay? Let's leave it where it belongs. We don't want no wet looking, super slick, shiny, let's just, we want hair that moves, okay? We want that hair to move, okay? So serums will do that. Grease will not. All right, y'all. So I'm using my I always get tongue-tied when it's time to mention these barrel irons. 1.25 inch or 1.25 inches. That's the size I decided to use. I could have used the 1 inch, but what for? She has a lot of hair, and I needed that heat to be able to cut through every single strand of hair that she has. So the 2 inch would have been too big, but this 1.25, perfect. This is the perfect size for that. And so the only thing I'm doing is using this iron to set her hair. Now, let me tell y'all a secret. If I wanted to, I could have curled her hair first and then cut it. Actually, I think I need to make that a video, because cutting the hair on a curl, y'all, You want to talk about body? Okay. That that is a look right there. But I did hers in reverse, and that's fine because I needed to see all her damage that was there, and her hair wasn't gonna it wasn't gonna do what it needed to do anyway, because it didn't really have a cut on it. So, but yeah, we're gonna make that a video one of these days. I'm gonna curl the hair first and then cut it so you can see how that looks and how the hair just falls right into place. So after these curls cooled, I went ahead and I just took them out, let them cool for about 5 minutes or so, just enough to make sure that they're not piping hot anymore, because if your curls are still hot, they will drop. So if you want your curls to last, if you want that body to last, and pin them up for a little while, let them cool. You know, if you're getting dressed in the morning time, when you're putting your makeup on, making your breakfast or whatever, just let your curls cool and then take them down. So you keep the body and you keep the shape there, so it's just not falling straight so fast. But again, a haircut helps that. If you don't have no haircut, then it will fall almost instantly. Like that's just what it is. And so after we've taken all her curls out, I'm gonna wrap them up because I didn't really want her to have no curls, really. You know, I just curled it for the shape, for the volume, but I didn't really want her hair curled. I really just wanted her to have just flowy, silky, voluminous hair with body. You know, we just wanted just nice, soft bevels in the hair and not really curls. So I'm gonna make sure I tie that up real good with the plastic cap, and I didn't use saran wrap because we're not trying to straighten it. The cap, it preserves the body, so it's not just hugging on to it. And I sat her under a dryer for about 5 to 10 minutes on cool, so like everything could get locked in and the sheen and everything. And here we are. Y'all, healthy hair is where it's at, okay? Like, look at that. I don't care what nobody say. It is nothing like seeing a head full of healthy, shiny hair. And, you know, honestly, guys, that's actually why I stopped offering hair extensions, because I felt like people were getting away from the beauty of just real hair and how beautiful it looks, especially when it's just cultivated. Like, you're not going to tell me that this hair is just not everything. Her hair is everything. It's gliding through this comb. I'm not working hard at all. It's styling itself. Like, this is why I do what I do. This is why I just love hair. I just love healthy hair. Just look at it. It's doing its thing. It's doing it by itself. We gave her a cut, gave her a nice treatment, put them few little curls in there, wrapped it up, and this is what we got. You know, it's love healthy hair. Just absolutely love it. So as always, thank y'all for watching. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that. If you haven't hit that bell so you can get notified, go ahead and do that. Oh, and also make sure y'all stay tuned to the end, because I posted some nice pictures of Nyla's finished products. All right, y'all. See y'all next week.